Good afternoon everybody. This is going to be a short video on the basic steps to creating a Google form and hopefully you find it useful. So firstly you want to go ahead and sign into your Glow account to find Google Classroom. If you've watched the how to sign in videos you'll already be familiar with having it in your favourites bar, so it's easily accessible, and also having your credentials already logged in. If you're not if you don't understand how to do that yet, then please have a look at the video on how best to sign in using a laptop or PC. So let's go ahead and sign in. The next part that you want to do is you want to look into your Google Drive. That's where we're going to start from, and then remember that's where everything is saved. When you create, is saved into your Google Drive. So when that opens up, it might look something like this. In order to get Google Form, you want to come up to New. You'll see there's a couple of different options there. Okay, you want to come down to More, and from there you'll find Google Forms. Click on that, and what it will do is open you up an absolutely blank template of Google Forms, a totally blank canvas for you to get started on. So I'll show you a couple of main features from this, and hopefully that'll be able to get you started on a basic Google form. The first thing you'd like to do is go up to this top left corner here and name our form. So we're going to call it New Form 1. Okay, and after I've done that, I like to come over and just click straight into here, and whatever's written on that top left side will transfer straight into the title of our form as well, which I find quite easy. Description, you might want to put in here the instructions for the young people or for the staff, whoever it is that's going to be completing it, or the date that it's due, or something along that, some sort of description for it. The next part you want to look at is down here just below. This is where you're going to be putting your question. So if I click in here, currently it says untitled question. Typically I like to name or number my questions so that the pupils, the staff, whoever it is that's completing it, understands whereabouts they are in the form. So from here I'm going to type in my first question. What is the population of Glasgow, for example? Okay, that might be my first question. The next part I need to decide is how do I want my answers to be formatted. So if I come over here and click, I've got a range of different options to choose from, and depending on which one I choose here will dictate how my answer is structured. So for example, if I was to click on short answer, it's just something that the person would type in, and it's only about a sentence long. Paragraph is a little bit more, but of a similar idea. Check boxes where you can check more than one option. Linear scale, something that I use quite a lot. It allows you them to put their answer based on a scale. But for this particular one, I'm going to go ahead and choose multiple choice, and I'm going to put in a couple of different options for them. So let's go for 10,000, 30,000, and let's just go for 50,000. Okay, so those would be my three answers, my three options that the person could choose from. Now coming down to the bottom here, this is really important, the required toggle button. If you're creating a form where you want the person completing it to definitely answer this particular question, then you have to check that as on. You'll see it highlights it in purple when it's activated. So for example, if this was a homework piece or a particularly serious question that you definitely wanted answered, you would toggle that. If it was a question that you weren't too worried about whether it was answered or not, or maybe it's an optional one, you could leave it as blank. The reason being that if this is toggled as on and somebody has not answered this question, when they get to the end of the form, it will not allow them to submit it. They have to go back and answer. Alright, whereas if it's toggled off and they get to the end of the form, they can still submit it without an answer. Okay, so that would be up to the person that's making it to decide, do they want this question to be answered or not. I'm going to go ahead and say yes, I want it to be answered. Okay, now moving on, the next little part would be this bar here. Okay, so you see that hovering over these different icons allows me to see what each one is. I want to go ahead and click here because that's add another question, and I would do exactly the same thing. Type in my question, decide what I want it to be, how I want it to be answered, and then go ahead and put the answers and things in. Okay, and just keep going and going until I've finished my form. So that allows you to get a basic template up and running of your form. The next little step you want to do is decide what's your form going to be about. So I'd come up to the little cog up here and click on settings. You'll see there's three tabs: general, presentation, and quizzes. Now for these three boxes here, okay, this one, and this one, I usually leave all of these unchecked. The reason is I've had a little bit of problems in the past with people trying to access the form. If certain one of these are ticked, sometimes it requests them to put their email address in, and if they don't put the right one in, it won't allow them in and allow them access. So I typically have these all unchecked. It just keeps everything a lot easier for the user when they're doing it. Coming along to presentation, okay, I like to click show progress bar. That allows the candidate to see how far they are along. This one is not one I typically have checked. I do keep this one usually checked, and I like a wee confirmation message at the end, so something thanks for submitting or something along that kind of line. You can put whatever you like in there. Now the last one, this is a really important one as well. So if this form is here to collect data or information, maybe from a staff member, you might not want to make this a quiz. However, if this is more like a homework sheet or something like that, then you would want to make it a quiz, because what making it a quiz allows you to do is assign point values to questions and allow auto marking. So for us as teachers, this is a really time efficient way of marking homework. I want to make sure that immediately after submission is checked for underneath release mark, because that will allow the candidates to see their grades straight away once they've completed it. So if I go ahead and click save here, what you'll see when you click back on the question is answer key has now appeared. Okay, so if I click on answer key, firstly I want to decide how many points is it worth. I'm going to say 1. What one is the correct answer? I'm going to choose this one, and add some answer feedback. So if at the end somebody gets the answer wrong, I can actually give them feedback. So I could say, sorry, it was 50, so they know and they get a little bit of feedback on their answers. And go ahead, you can do the same for correct answers as well if you wanted to. Go ahead and save, and that's in there now. Okay, so you need to do that for every individual question to make sure that that's done. Now, the last little part that I'd like to show you is where your form is saved. So automatically all saves are all changes are saved in the drive. So as soon as you stop typing, that saves in your drive. So if I cross this off just now, you'll see that automatically it's appeared in my drive. Okay, so from here I can then go ahead and add it to my Google Classroom, or if I wanted to get the link, okay, to maybe put it in an email or something like that, I could just right click it and then click get shareable link, and what that'll do is it's copied a link to my clipboard. So if I was to go ahead and paste that into an email, for example, it would come up saying the link to that form. Okay, it just allows people to click on it and it'll take them straight to it. Okay, those are the kind of basic functions of getting you started with a basic Google form. I hope you found it helpful, and thank you very much for watching.